For those who recently participated in the water quality session that I hosted at the recent EPSCoR teacher workshop on incorporating data into the classroom, this is just a tutorial showing how I went through the USGS water data site to download water quality data. So the first thing I'm going to look for, I'm going to do a Google search on NWIS, which is the National Water Information System that's hosted by the USGS, a really fantastic resource. And so when I go to that page, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom left-hand corner and look for the tab that says, or for the button that says water quality. Within water quality, there are a few different choices, but I want results from bottles that were dipped in the water by USGS scientists. And so that's in the far left-hand corner. And so I'm going to click on that button. And now I'm given a few choices about how to search for certain samples and the results from the water quality analysis of those samples. So for location, I'm going to choose to search based on state. I want some control over the site type because I want to look for groundwater samples. And then data attribute. I'm going to choose to select more specifically on parameter codes, but these parameter codes, these 5-digit parameter codes, are not necessarily intuitive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click. I'm going to hover over the question mark there to get a little bit more information, and then I'm going to right-click on this link. That's going to open that information in a new tab where I can then search through different parameters so that I know that I'm searching for the right one. And just note as I scroll down here in these bullets, these are the groupings of water quality variables that the USGS analyzes water samples for. And so I want to find some arsenic data, and so I am not certain if that's going to be inorganic major metals, inorganic minor major metals, or inorganic minor nonmetals. So if I were doing this for the first time, I would probably try each of those and look for arsenic. But since I've done this in the past, I know that those data exist in the minor nonmetals. And so I'll click on the HTML table. And note we have a long list here of all sorts of different things that the USGS analyzes for. I'm going to search within this page for arsenic, and there the first result is. And note on the far left-hand side is the 5-digit ID for the water variable of interest. And so I could try each of these to see which produces the most data points. There's going to be multiple codes given the different ways that water has been sampled or analyzed for arsenic in the past. So from past experience again, I know that most of the groundwater samples that have been analyzed for arsenic use this method that's indicated by 01002. And so now that I have that information, I can go back to the other screen. I'm going to click Submit, and now I get some more choices about how to specify which samples I want. So within state and territory, I'm going to scroll down to New Hampshire. Site type, I'm interested in groundwater, so I'm going to select well generally. I could select something more specific if I wanted that. But for now, I just want all well waters in New Hampshire that have been analyzed for arsenic using the 01002 method. Then I have multiple choices for how I get data back. I can just get a list of sites where samples have been collected, or I can actually get all of the data. And I'm interested in this case in getting all of the data. And so what I'm going to choose here are tab-separated data. So I'll click this button. I'm going to accept all of the default variables except instead of saving it to a file, I'm just going to ask that it be displayed in a browser. And then I can decide whether I want to save from the browser or not. And so I will just click Submit. And the data file, the tab-separated data file, shows up in the browser as an ordinary text file. And note, it has a lot of description up top about what the data are, what the different codes mean, all of the sites where the data were collected from. And after I get past the lines that are led by a hashtag, that hashtag just is a comment, indicates that the whole line is a comment. So there are a lot of sites here. Then we run into the samples. And so note the first column is the agency, the second is the site number, etc. It gives a date, a time, and ultimately at the far end, a concentration of arsenic in micrograms per liter. If I wanted to save this, I would right-click on the page, and then I can go to the Save Page As, and I would have the option of saving it as a text file, which I could then pull into Excel for further analysis if I were going to be using Excel for the analysis. Good, so I think that's enough to get you started on exploring this database and finding the types of data that you're interested in. I hope it's useful.